Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I am Greg Poling. I direct the Southeast Asia program, as well as the Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative here at CSIS. We're very, very happy to see you all here for the next installment of our ASEAN Leadership Forum. We've been doing about one of these a quarter with senior leaders from across the region. I know that we're starting a few minutes late, but it is a rainy day in Washington, and I wanted to make sure everybody had a little bit of time to dry off and get to your seats. So, first, a bit of housekeeping. Everything that you hear today will be on the record. We'll be live streaming it on our website and on YouTube. Those who are online, we invite you to ask questions along with those in the room. And everything today is being made possible by general support to the CSIS Southeast Asia program. So with that, let me introduce our guest of honor, one who I'm sure is familiar to most of you. Sun Chantol is currently the Deputy Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia. He was previously the Minister of Commerce the last time he spoke here at CSIS in 2014. He was also the Minister of Public Works and Transport from 2004 to 2008 and from 2016 to 2023. Prior to joining government, he worked in the private sector, including 16 years at General Electric. Most importantly, we share an alma mater. He graduated with his bachelor's from American University and then went to a slightly better school, a little place called Harvard in Boston. I got my MA from American. I shouldn't say better because I see Piper Campbell there. An equally good school with American University. And so with that, let me cede the podium to His Excellency Sun Chantol, and then we will have our Q&A. Thank you.
Good morning. Well, it's great to be back. Great to CSIS. Appreciate very much the opportunity to be here to speak to you, the audience here, and also on the online, broadcast. We are here to promote investment from the U.S. and also Canada to Cambodia. We believe in the private sector. Our government believes that the private sector is the engine of our economic growth, and our role is to facilitate the private sector to invest, to trade, to create jobs for our people. And you might ask, why should we select Cambodia as a place to invest where we have alternatives, bigger market, for example, in Vietnam, or to go to Thailand, go to Malaysia, go to Singapore, whatnot, right? But why Cambodia? And I can tell you, I always inform potential investor to come to Cambodia to invest in a country, not to serve the 17 million consumer in Cambodia, but because Cambodia is strategically located in the heart of the Great Mekong Sub-region, which consists of Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, and certain part of China, with 250 million consumers. In addition to that, we are also part of ASEAN. So if you include all the ASEAN, we talk about 670 million consumers, the fourth largest economy in the world. But if we expand further to include Japan, Korea, China, New Zealand, and Australia, which form part of the largest free trade agreement called RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. That's the largest FTA in the world with 2.3 billion consumers. But let's expand further from Cambodia. The market in EU, European Union, few hundred million consumer there. And why we said the EU? Cambodia received trade preferences from EU. They grant us what they call EBA. Everything but arms. Anything that you manufacture in Cambodia other than arms, you can export to EU without paying tax. So that's the advantage that investor will help by putting factory in Cambodia. Let's expand to USA. Cambodia also received GSP from the US. Although the GSP program has expired, but we hope that the new Congress will renew the GSP. So the market is big. I mean, the world market actually can be served from Cambodia. But how about political situation in Cambodia? That's important. Predictability for investors is important. Well, we provide peace and stable political situation in the country. Since 1998, former Prime Minister Hun Sen introduced the win-win strategy to allow the Khmer Rouge to lay down their arms and integrate it to the government of Cambodia. So 1998 was the first time in over 500 years that Cambodia achieved total peace and stability in the country. Before, you always have pocket resistance within Cambodia. But since 1998, we've been having total peace, one government, one constitution, one king. With peace and stability, we have been growing our economy at average 7% per annum. That's our GDP growth for 20 years straight until the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, when our economy shrunk. But last year, it grew on 5%. This year, the latest estimate from ADB, Asian Development Bank, is 5.8. And next year, going to be probably 6%. That's the latest estimate from the World Bank. So we provide peace stability, and we provide macroeconomic stability in the country. The exchange rate of Cambodia has been stable for the last 20 years, around 4,000 real to $1. The inflation is stable, around 2.5%. So it's stable to do business. You don't want to go do business in a country where inflation goes like a yo-yo, exchange rate like a yo-yo. It's very hard to predict and to do business. And by the way, Cambodia's economy is dollarized economy. It's all US dollars based. So there's no exchange risk for the American company to invest in the country. You also want to look at debt to GDP ratio. Our debt to GDP ratio is below 40%, around 30% plus. So Cambodia has the ability, has the room to borrow more, to invest in productive projects that will generate economic growth for our country. We have not borrowed for consumption, and we will not borrow for consumption, borrow to invest in productive projects. Talk about the government. Well, I like to go to Cambodia, but is your government pro-business government, or your government will be a manager of the private sector in your world? But our government is a pro-business government. Like I said early on, that we believe that private sector is the engine of our economic growth. So we work closely with the private sector. We have dialogue on a regular basis. The government of Cambodia created 16 technical working groups co-chaired by the private sector and the minister of the government of Cambodia. For example, technical working group on banking, on taxation, technical working group on infrastructure, agriculture, tourism, and so on and so forth. And they meet on a regular basis to address the issues of the private sector in that particular field. Once a year, our Prime Minister chair what we call Government Private Sector Forum, where we invite 1,000 plus people in the room, private sector, diplomatic corps, NGO, and the whole cabinet member. We call expanded cabinet meeting, televised live on our TV, where the private sector can ask questions to the Prime Minister that this issue that cannot be resolved. So please help us to resolve these issues. IFC of the World Bank helped create 22 government private sector forums around the world. And they did a survey, which forum that is the most effective, productive in solving the problem of the private sector. Cambodia came first. It's the most productive government private sector forum to solve the problem of the private sector. In addition to that, we offer the dialogue, public-private sector dialogue with the U.S. Cambodia, U.S. private public-private sector dialogue before I came here. That was the first time that we organized that with American Chamber of Commerce, co-chaired by Chargé d'Affaires. In Cambodia, we have not had the new ambassador yet. So Chargé d'Affaires co-chaired the dialogue with me. And during the meeting, we solved two problems, two issues that the private sector from the American community raised, and we solved those two issues. And we noted the issues that I need to address with other relevant ministry and agencies. We offer the same dialogue to EU. So I co-chair the public-private sector dialogue with Ambassador of EU. That's the first one. We started also last weeks before I came here. We offered to Japan. We've been doing it with Japan 28 times. So once every 6 months, we co-chair with the Ambassador of Japan and with JBAC, Japanese Business Association in Cambodia. So the avenue, the platform where the private sector can can list out the issues. If I cannot resolve with my colleague from various government agency, ministry, I will bring this up to the Prime Minister, and he will set up the troubleshooting task force, if you will, to address those cross-cutting issues. So that's what I'm talking about, pro-business government, okay? Now, we're great, we're happy, you have microeconomic stability, you have pro-government, pro-business government. How about infrastructure? Is it good for Cambodia? Can I ship my product? Can I trade across the border? Can I trade with the world? Do we have a good infrastructure? I would say that, it's fairly good, very good. Since 1998, we have been investing heavily in the infrastructure. First, within the country, to integrate Cambodia together, so you must build a road. Before, to go to a few provinces of Cambodia, you had to go through Vietnam to enter Cambodian province, because the road from Phnom Penh to that province cannot go. I mean, you can go, but take you probably 2 days, for example. But now, you can travel 24/7 from Phnom Penh to all the provinces of Cambodia, and between the province, also on paved road. Some road already enlarged from 2 lanes to 4 lanes. We built our first expressway, it already open, expressway linking Phnom Penh, the capital city, to the deep sea port of CNRP on the BOT, $2 billion investment. We are currently building the second expressway between Phnom Penh to Ho Chi Minh City. We built to the border of Vietnam, and Vietnam will build from there to Ho Chi Minh City. That should be completed by 2027. The third expressway between Phnom Penh to Siem Reap, and then from Siem Reap to the border of Thailand, is going through the people study today. Okay, and we hope sometime next year we will have the groundbreaking for this third expressway. So the road network in Cambodia is fairly good, that you can trade with Vietnam, with Thailand, with Laos, and also internationally through our seaport, deep seaport in CNRP, or through our Phnom Penh port. Phnom Penh port is shipped through the Mekong River, from Phnom Penh port on the Mekong River, and using the port in Vietnam. Or CNRP port that handles 60% of our trading volume. Now, we are going through the major expansion for CNRP port. We have $1 billion to invest in 3 phases of the expansion. First phase is a new container port with 14.5 meter depth that allows up to 93% of the vessel going through Asia Pacific to be able to call on our port. As of today, only 18%, because the draft only 9 meters. But by 2026, 93% of the vessel that are going around Asia Pacific can call on our port. By 2028, 2026, 93%. 2028, we have the new terminal with 16.5 meter depth. So that practically you can ship all over Asia Pacific. 2029, we will complete the third expansion of the new terminal with 17.5 meter depth. So then we can ship direct between Phnom Penh, between Cambodia to the US, to EU, around the world without going through transshipment either in Vietnam, Singapore, Lam Chabang port in Thailand, or Hutchinson port in Hong Kong. So that's a major expansion for our port. Our airport, Siem Reap, we opened last year, new airport outside of Siem Reap city. The reason we moved out, because the old airport was so close, around 6 kilometers from Angkor Wat Temple. So the noise, vibration, the pollution on our temples is huge. So we decided, look, we cannot afford the vibrations and all that. So we moved out also to build a new airport that can accommodate around 15 million tourists per year. That was opened last October. The new airport in Phnom Penh, also we're going to relocate. After 60 years or something, we're going to relocate from Phnom Penh outside the Phnom Penh, and this airport can accommodate up to 50 million tourists, passengers, and that should be open sometime next year, maybe the third quarter of next year. Now, we have one project that we had a groundbreaking. There's a presided over by our Prime Minister on August the 5th of this year. The project called Funan Daeju Canal. And this canal is to link Phnom Penh port directly to our seaport without going through the port in Vietnam. Okay, so that is the distance 180 kilometers. It will reduce the shipping route by 200 kilometers. So we're going to save CO2 emission to the environment. In addition to that, we are pushing to change from the land transport to inland waterway transport. So again, we will reduce the CO2 emission. We will reduce the road accident. If you ship by road, you will reduce the damage to our roads. So by shipping all these goods on the Mekong River directly to the sea, so you don't have to go through formality at the border. Obviously, when you cross the border to another country, you must respect the rule regulation of that country, the procedures, customs, and so on and so forth. So you reduce the lead time. Okay, that's important. That's important. And these projects will not have the negative impact on the environment, either in Cambodia or cross-border in Vietnam, because we studied in so detail. I was Minister of Public and Transport altogether around 11 years. I never studied a project so detailed like the Funan Daeju Canal, because we want to ensure there's no impact in both countries. Cambodia will not implement a zero-sum game where Cambodia wins, our neighboring country, namely Vietnam, loses. We cannot do that. And also we need to do, according to the Mekong River Commission agreement, that 4 countries signed in 1995, namely Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, and Thailand. So we must abide by that agreement. So we had the groundbreaking on August the 5th of this year, and this project likely to complete, we have a goal to complete by 2028. So it's a game changer project for us to reduce the cost of logistics. So all investors, everyone will benefit. And along this canal, you will see logistics center, warehousing, commercial center, tourism center, and so on and so forth. When I talk about canal 180 kilometers, does that mean that Cambodia will dig 180 kilometers of canal? This canal was used 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago by the kingdom, the first kingdom of Cambodia called Kingdom Funan. Okay, or Funan Kingdom. Kingdom of Funan dug 3 canals. One is Okao Canal, another one Wente, and the third one, what I'm talking about right now, the Funan Empire at the time, not Kingdom, Empire of Funan. But the other two, the first two that I mentioned to you, right now is part of Vietnam. It used to be Khmer territory, but right now part of Vietnam. So we don't have access to the sea from that canal dug by the Funan Empire. Funan Empire was very prosperous because of the trading using the Okao port, Okao Canal. So this one, like I said, we just enlarge the existing canal. We're going to deepen the canal to allow up to 3,000 ton vessel to be able to travel between Phnom Penh and Lao Sea. So that's all it is. We're going to dig probably 7 kilometers because near the sea is just zigzag, very small canal. So that's all we're going to dig, to straighten up a little bit so that the ship can pass easily there around 7 kilometers. This is talking about canal. Now, while you have good infrastructure, how about the cost of logistics? Well, today I can tell you the cost of logistics in Cambodia is a bit higher than our neighboring country. But what do you do in order to make logistics in Cambodia more competitive? We work with JICA, we work with the World Bank to design the master plan. So we had a master plan on logistics for 2023-2033. For 10 years, it's called for investment of $36.6 billion to implement 174 projects that are identified in the master plan. So we're here to urge American companies to look into the master plan to see which projects that they wish to participate in, either on a BOT, build, operate, and transfer, or public-private partnership for the logistics master plan. We work with a company in Singapore called YCH to build a first logistics complex in Phnom Penh called Phnom Penh Logistics Complex, or YCH call them a super port. They have one in Vietnam, so they learn. They're going to use the best practices in Vietnam, super port in Vietnam. They're going to build one near Phnom Penh. We are working with IFC of the World Bank to do the FS, the feasibility study of a second one in Sihanoukville. They're going to be Sihanoukville Logistics Complex. So IFC is our advisor. They're doing this study today, and so hope maybe it's been almost 2 years now. They should finish fairly soon, and then we're going to call for tender for the Sihanoukville Logistics Complex. So that the logistics. Well, you have all that. How about the labor force in Cambodia? Can you have enough labor force? I can tell you that labor force in Cambodia is young, dynamic, willing to be trained, trainable. 60% is under the age of 35. So Cambodia will have productive workforce the next 30 years, if you will. We are the youngest country in ASEAN. If we talk about General Z, we talk about 60%. The Philippines has 45%, but it is 60%. And they speak English. They speak English. In addition to that, the government of Cambodia has a program to train up to 1.5 million youth from the poor families on technical vocational training program. We introduced this program November last year. Up until now, we already trained 57,000 Cambodian youth. They don't have to pay for tuition, but we pay them a small amount, $80 a month, to go to school to take this program, and then they're ready to enter the workforce. So that talk about the labor force in Cambodia. How about investment regime? If I invest in Cambodia, what kind of investment regime do we offer? Let me quote the World Bank. The World Bank said, and I quote, Cambodia has the most liberal investment regime in ASEAN, unquote. Why the World Bank said that? Well, because in Cambodia, there's no alien business law. So all investors are treated equally. Every economic sector of Cambodia is open to investor. You can own 100% of your investment in Cambodia. I don't know how many countries in ASEAN that offer 100% banking license to a foreigner. 100% telecom sector, agricultural sector. I don't know that many countries that allow, you own 100%. This sector is very sensitive. Some country has moving trust law. You need to have local partner. Some country has alien business law. We reserve certain sector for the local, not in Cambodia. The only difference between a foreign investor and the local investors, the ability to buy land. Our constitution does not allow a foreigner to own land. But you can lease for 50 years. But also, you can do legally, if a company is 51% owned by Cambodian, that entity can purchase land. Or you go through the trust fund, that also you can acquire land. So, we have labor, we have land, the two factors of production. We need only the third one. The third factor of production is financial resources, right? The finance, funding. That's why we're looking for the investment from the private sector to complete the three factor of production in Cambodia to create jobs for our people. Trade, Cambodia is very open. Like I said, we're part of RCEP. We also have the bilateral agreement, free trade agreement with China, with Korea, with UAE. UAE don't call free trade agreement, they call CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement with UAE. And we continue to discuss, to talk to other countries to sign the FTA. How about investment? Is my investment protected? Yes, the law on investment protect the investor. But in addition to that, Cambodia also signed the BIT, Bilateral Investment Treaty, with over 30 countries to protect their investment. So that all the ingredient, good ingredient in Cambodia. All we need to do is to work. All we need is a cook, the cook from the USA to cook the food where we have all the good ingredients. So that's why we're looking for the investment from the US. Now, we've been successful the last 12 months of the new government under the Prime Minister, Hun Manet. We approved $7.5 billion for the first 12 months of the new mandate, the seventh mandate under Prime Minister Hun Manet. That's an increase of 160% compared with the 12 months of the same period under former Prime Minister Hun Sen. In terms of number of projects, we increased 75%. In terms of employment, we create 344,000 jobs from this investment that we approve versus 200,000. So all this, it shows the confidence in the government of Cambodia. It's a place, and then also confident that they can be successful of their investment in the country. But at the same time, we like to diversify our portfolio of investor. Although our investment law does not discriminate against any investor from any country, they all treat equally at exactly the same level playing field in Cambodia. Now, the 7.5 billion that I mentioned to you, 50% come from China. Around 30% is local Cambodian. We have the Association of Ok Nha that's here with us. Ok Nha Association is the Association of Tycoon of Cambodia, and they invest in over, they have 400 members. They invest over 800 companies in Cambodia. But we need to attract more FDI from EU and from the US. And that's why we make this roadshow to attract the investment. So I urge the American company to consider Cambodia is a place to invest. And with small, open economy, with the mindset of the private sector, because we believe that private sector, once again, is the engine of our economic growth. I bring with me also the president of American Chamber of Commerce in Cambodia, Casey Barnett, has his own business, doing successfully, very successful in Cambodia. I also bring with me the former president of American Chamber of Commerce, David Bata, his investment of his own over there, very successful in Cambodia, and also our business community also come along. So I'm going to stop here, pause right here, and probably leave some more time for you to ask a question. But here we are, a small, open economy in the heart of the Great Mekong Sub-region that can be a place for the American company to invest. Now, let me touch base a little bit. I'm sure some of you probably said, why you always rely on China? Why China? Why China? Well, like I said, our investment law does not discriminate as long as they respect the law of the land. Submit application, then we review and we approve. There's companies also from China that want to de-risk, so they move to Cambodia, right? They're willing to invest in infrastructure, in a power plant, hydropower plant, an expressway, and so on and so forth. Now, let's talk about green, clean energy. Cambodia grid, Cambodia power generation, majority, 62%, come from clean energy, from hydro, from solar. We the second largest in ASEAN after Laos in terms of clean energy, whereas the average ASEAN member states is around 30%. We have 62% already, and we'd like to move to 70% by 2030. So clean energy in Cambodia. We committed to carbon neutral in 2050. We have our vision to become the high-income country by 2050. We're going to graduate soon from the LDC, least developed country, very soon. So we'd like to move to the high-income country by 2050. But we cannot get there if we continue to rely on the low labor-intensive industry. We'd like to move into the electrical, electronic, automotive industry, food processing industry, tourism, and so on, where we add more value, create job, a better paying job for our people. We do not want to just sell raw material. We need to process in our country in order to add value. So that what I'd like to share with you, the audience here and also the audience online. And once again, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here for the second time and to meet my AU graduate. I asked him what he graduated. He said 2000, what grade? 2012. I said, wow, I must be very old. I graduated in 1978. So, but it's great, great that we meet here. So once again, thanks so very much. I'm here to answer any question that you might have. So thank you very much. Should I come here? Yep, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister. So for those in the room, we have a microphone over here if you would like to ask a question. And for those online, you have a little box. You can type it in and I'll be able to see it and read. Let me start with a couple of our own here. So we have an election, you might have heard. It's middle of silly season here in Washington. Whoever takes over as President of the United States in January, what would the Cambodian government like to see to enhance the kind of engagement that you highlighted in your keynote?
Well, we will work with any or president, any party. It can be Republican, can be President Donald Trump, or President Harris. For us, what choice do we have? We had to work with them. So what we do, just what we want is just to ensure that there's more engagement, not less. We want more investment, not less. We want more dialogue, not less. So we want to be a good partner of the U.S. U.S. is the oldest country that set up the diplomatic relationship with Cambodia. Next year, we celebrate the 75th anniversary of Cambodia-U.S. diplomatic relation. It's amazing. U.S. had a relationship with Cambodia in 1950, even before, 3 years before we gained our independence. So we are a good partner, a good friend of the U.S., and we'd like to engage more, we'd like to attract more FDI into the country. Today, we have companies like Coca-Cola, we have Ford, we have part of Tiffany, Loretton, cutting diamond in Cambodia. We have a lot of fast food chains, Burger King, Carl Jr., Pizza Hut, you name it, we have all in Cambodia. And Cambodians love American products, especially the young one. So I think the next administration should engage more with Cambodia and try to promote more trade and investment. Today, U.S. is the largest exporter market for Cambodia. We export to the trade volume between our two countries, around $9 billion. So we like to do more. We like to attract more FDI for American company. So that's what we hope that the next administration will try to push American company to invest in Cambodia.
Thank you. Since 2019, a major irritant between the U.S. and Cambodia, particularly on the security front, has been China's role in the expansion of Ream Naval Base. How can Cambodia and the U.S. address that irritant in the next administration?
First of all, our Constitution does not allow any foreign military in Cambodia, period. So the Ream Naval Base is not for the Chinese. The Chinese provide us with the assistance to expand the Ream Naval Base for our own national defense, not to be used by the Chinese for any military against another country. Our Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, our current Prime Minister, always said it, when this naval base is completed, any Navy can call on that port as long as for humanitarian, disaster recovery and so on and so forth, or joint military exercise. That's it. Not for any Chinese military force to base in Ream. Now, you ask us to prove something that's not going to happen in the future. How can I prove that? First, they said, please have a high level of a government official to declare publicly that this naval base is not for China. And we did. Our former Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Defense, said publicly that he said, well, not good enough. We hire government official. So our former Prime Minister, Hun Sen, spoke publicly, televised live, about 2 hours, talk about Ream Naval Base. Said, please believe us. Our Constitution does not allow the Chinese or any military base of any country to be in Cambodia. Maybe it's not good enough again. During the special summit, U.S.-ASEAN Special Summit, which I had the honor to participate with our Prime Minister, I sat right behind him. President Biden was there. All the head of state, head of government of ASEAN was there also. Our Prime Minister again volunteered. Mr. President, I just want to reassure you that Ream Naval Base is not for the Chinese. what else can we do? Now, he said publicly in Cambodia. He said publicly in the U.S.-ASEAN Special Summit here in Washington. So let's wait when this completed, the Ream military naval base is completed, and the U.S. Navy said, look, I'd like to call on a port, for humanitarian, for training. If you said, no, we allow on the Chinese, then you tell, you've been lying to us. Or we've been lying to our people because we go against our constitution. So wait until then. Wait until completed and ask to see whether we allow the U.S. Navy to call on the port. But make sure you bring the small one because the water is very shallow. You might get stuck there. People say, oh, you're going to have, submarine, the submarine. I'm telling you right now, the draft brought by 3 meters. Now we just dredge you probably 6 or 7 meters. So bring a small one. You bring a big one, you get stuck there. I can tell you that.
Thank you. All right, let's take our first audience question online. And those who are shy in the room, again, I encourage you to go over to the mic, and I'll call on you there. This question comes from Alex Willemans from RFA. On Monday, independent Cambodian journalist Mek Dara was arrested for social media posts he made. Last year, the U.S. State Department awarded Dara an award for his reporting on cyber scam compounds in Cambodia. What message does his arrest send to the world?
I'm sorry, I'm here in the U.S., so I have no knowledge of the arrest. I just heard yesterday from the gentleman from Samson. So I have not even, called to Cambodia to find out about his arrest. So I cannot answer this question, to be honest with you.
May I ask, would you like to address the broader issue of scam compounds, cyber scam compounds in Cambodia, which has been so much in the news?
Well, yes, that I can say something about that because our government is aware of that. The online scam or human trafficking that will, that affect the image of Cambodia, that affect the tourism industry of Cambodia. We do not condone or approve that. So we are fighting head on, very hard. Our Prime Minister direct the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Interior, to crack down on illegal online casino, illegal gambling, and try to crack down, not try, but work very hard to crack down on the online scam. It's affect us so bad, as much as affect the whole world. The image of Cambodia is not good. So to attract tourists to Cambodia, or to attract FDI, people say, oh, I'm afraid to go, So that we have to work very hard, and we are working hard I don't think that we can eliminate 100%, but at least minimize it to the max. So this kind of thing does not exist in our country. So that's what we're doing today. But that's because it's also affect my work, really. When I go to promote investment, the people ask me about this same question. Oh, I don't dare to invest in Cambodia because of online scam, human trafficking. It's hurt us economically. So we will not allow this to continue. We're going to fight hard.
Thank you. All right, the line at the mic is building up, so let's take questions 2 at a time, if that's okay. And remember, 2 ground rules. 1, please identify yourself for the DPM, and 2, make sure the question is a question. Please.
Thank you so much, Greg, and thank you so much, Excellency Sun Chantal. I'm Mirat from Radio Free Asia in DC here. So my first question, I have 2 questions. My first question is, since the start of the new government by the Prime Minister Hun Manet, I was wondering, what has Cambodia done to improve the climate, investment climate and trade relation with the U.S., given the fact that there are a lot of major concerns from U.S. firms, not just U.S. firms, but also other foreign companies in the world, regarding the deep-rooted corruption issue in Cambodia, regarding the violation of labor laws, regarding the suppression against critics. As you may remember, former Prime Minister Hun Sen lately disclosed that his government is going to create a new law to exclude those critics overseas and consider them as a terrorist group. And also, while you are sitting here today, yesterday, your government just arrested and cracked down on the media, independent media, Majdara, as our colleague asked you already. So I was wondering how all these things you could help to will improve the business climate or investment climate. My question number 2 is regarding the latest sanction by the U.S. Treasury Department against one of your Oknya, Lee Yong-pat. So I was wondering, because the Cambodian government already issued a statement saying that this may affect the improvement of the relation between the U.S. and Cambodia. So how will you address this? Thank you so much, Excellency.
Okay, and if we can hold the next set of questions, please.
Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister. My name is McCall Mincer, and I'm here from the Boeing Company. I'd like to ask you about the Boeing Company. Boeing.
Okay.
I'd like to ask you about Cambodia's aviation sector, which is experiencing significant growth, especially air travel demand. You mentioned improving airport infrastructure, so I'd like to ask you what else Cambodia is planning to do to meet this demand, and how American companies like Boeing can help.
Okay, thank you very much. So let me address the first question from the VOA on the investment climate. What have we done? First, we had a new law, investment law, that provide better incentives to the investor. 2, we increase the technical working group to 60 now to address the issues of the private sector. We offer a dialogue that never had before between American and Cambodia, between EU and Cambodia. In October, we offer this to Korea. So I will co-chair Cambodia-Korea public-private sector dialogues. That's what we're doing. We're doing a lot of reforms. We put things online, like the CDC. We just launched about 2 weeks ago the investment project management application, where you can submit the application for your investment online. You don't have to go to Cambodia, so submit by paper. You can track every step of your application. So when you eliminate the physical interface between the private sector and the public sector, you can cut down on corruption issue. And I'm very pleased to tell you that 2 days ago, in my hotel room, almost midnight, I approved 3 projects from here. They don't have to wait for me to return back to Cambodia. You go through online, review everything online. 1 click, approve, it's done. So this is the kind of thing that we work on, to make life easier for the investor or people to do business in Cambodia. The ease of doing business in Cambodia is improving. The cost of doing business in Cambodia is improving. Like I mentioned to you on logistics, the cost of electricity, the clean, green or energy, the special economic zone. We have 26 special economic zone where you put your investment in that zone. I would call clean zone because have wastewater treatment plant, have communication, infrastructure. We send custom official there, the people from Ministry of Commerce, Labor, CDC, to locate it, to stay at a special economic zone in order to process all the requests for import and export out that zone easier. Okay, that's what we've been doing in terms of improve the investment climate. You talk about the rest, like I mentioned to you. I just heard yesterday. I have not talked to any colleagues in Cambodia, but in general, in Cambodia, the freedom of expression is a lot better than other countries in the region. I can assure you that. Some country you can say a little thing, you're going to be sued, you go to jail. But in Cambodia, because you rather inform some outlet. The role of the media, the role of a journalist is to inform, not to inflame. Remember that. The role is to inform, not to inflame. The role is to provide information accurately. Radio Free Asia 2 days ago accused the government of Cambodia of taking land from the people that live along the canal. 10,000 households will be displaced and been taken by the government of Cambodia. This kind of information that Radio Free Asia been broadcast into Cambodia. I do not know where you get your 10,000 numbers from. The exact numbers of household that will be affected is 2,305. We did the count from the drone. We hired the third party to go to every houses that affected. We have consultation with them. We have not taken 1 square inch of the land yet. So all this resettlement plan has been done by independent companies. The next step will be the team of the Ministry of Economy and Finance will go out there and verify what this private company did to ensure that we will compensate our people properly at the market rate. We counted tree, banana tree, coconut tree, mango tree, all together, I can tell you 149,163 trees. Mango tree, coconut tree, name it. We will pay them. We will compensate them. So Radio Free Asia, please, you have information, ask us. Don't put your finger in your mouth and the wind blows strong, 10,000. Not too strong, 5,000. The number of households affected. Ask us. We have nothing to hide. Go to Funan Daiju Canal website, Telegram, to get all information from there. We don't hide the information. Well, let me finish, okay? We don't hide the information. Wait, let me finish. You can follow up with a question. That is true information. True information, okay? Go on website to see it, okay? If you lack information, please come to us, okay? So the role is to inform, not to inflame, all right? Now, regarding the sanction, that the price of matter is a private company. We're not going to get involved in that one. Okay, let him clear his own name on his own. The government of Cambodia will not stand there and defend and try to clear his name. His own obligation to defend himself. You know, I mean, he has the right to defend himself. And we see what outcome from that. Okay? Okay, he raised his hand twice, so may I?
Your schedule is busier than mine today.
Please, I allow you to come back, you know. Please go to the mic. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Excellency, for your response to my question. I just to ask you, because you said that before we write anything or publish anything, we have to ask first the government official. But how come we ask government official if the Cambodian government official and almost all of the spokesperson from the new government, especially, I can say that they don't want to talk to us. They dub us as the critics or somehow join the so-called color revolution, something like that, baked by foreign government. So how can we raise the question to the government, and how can we get the answer if you consider us and you kick us out, Radio Free Asia and other independent media from Cambodia? And if the press environment in Cambodia still become like a hostile for government of Cambodia? Thank you.
Look, you need to look yourself in the mirror, my friend. You've been telling wrong information all along for the last 10 years. We tell A, you say B. How can we trust you? You have the last word, no matter what we say. You never reported what we say. And that's why we don't want to answer your question. That's the reason. But let's turn the page. Now I'm telling you, I want you to go back report on Funan Daichu Canal. You said, look, I made a mistake, not 10,000, 2,305 houses that will be affected by this project. Please go back and correct your statement. And let's see whether we can work with you or not. But if I continue to give you accurate information, you keep on rejecting it, you put any numbers that you want to broadcast, you want to inflame, you want to exaggerate, you want to play the role of the opposition. Look, you need to be independent. If you're independent, ask me a question, okay? You send me information that, look, tell me about canal project. I will answer you, okay? I will not shy away. But please make sure what I say, information I give to you, you broadcast that. You can double check and then you can broadcast the information. But if I say 2,305, you said 10,000. I don't know what else to say. So next time when you ask me questions, no need to talk to IFA because they will not broadcast the true and accurate information. So the journalists, one more time, media, the role is to inform accurately, not to inflame. Remember that word, okay? To inform, not to inflame. I hope you answered the question. And let's turn the page. Come back, come to me if you have a question. Come to my colleagues, they're all here. Secretary of State for Ministry of Mine and Energy, Secretary of State for Ministry of Commerce. Ask a question. Be more than happy to answer. But please, please write the accurate information. That's all we ask you for. I told my colleague, I had an interview in Canada. They taped my voice. I put my tape recorder on also next to each other. I said, "Cook, you tape me, I tape you. Don't misquote me." So when you call me, ask for information, I guarantee you I will tape you also. Just in case you say something that I didn't say. I want to tell you ahead of time, okay? I have a call, I put tape recorder. I also tape your voice, okay? To let you know ahead of time. I had to defend myself because you have been doing this for the last 20 years. All we broadcast have been wrong, incorrect. So that's why it got us a little upset, okay? But let's turn the page. Thank you. Boeing. Tourism industry is big, ma'am, very big. A lot of airlines. We just said Air Asia, Cambodia, Encore Air has been expanding, Cambodia's airways. So eventually we need a lot of planes from Boeing. We need engine from GE, from Pratt & Whitney, for example. That's American companies, right? So I used to work with GE, so I route for GE engine. So I'm very pleased to see 737 that's using all CFM engine. Very happy with that. Okay, very happy with that. So please work with our civil aviation. If you have any issues and things like that, we can introduce you to the airline, there are Air Asias and Encore Air, whatnot in the country. Because eventually the tourists will come back. Today, we have not reached the level of pre-COVID yet. We used to have over 6 million tourists, but now around 3+4 maybe million. So we'd like to reach that level. And with the new airport, we hope to receive more tourists and also cargo. That's all need. We always talk to the private sector. They need to have a good cargo terminal at the new airport so they can ship faster, by air. So we welcome Boeing. To discuss with the airlines in Cambodia and also with the civil aviation in Cambodia. Let us know when you come to Cambodia. We, put you in touch with the civil aviation. Is okay, ma'am? Is that answer your question? I'm happy with Boeing, because the former two chairman and CEO of Boeing or HGE, and I know both of them. The last one, Dave Calhoun. Before that, Jim McNerney. I know both of them. So I'm pro Boeing. Okay, so yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are 8 minutes over time, and I apologize to my colleagues who have been staying at the mic, but we do have to gavel this closed.
Okay.
Let me just first thank my colleagues, Lauren Mai, who helped organize this, Jack Mint, now resident with our team, who helped pull it together, and the whole Southeast Asia and Avian Broadcasting team. Please join me in thanking the Deputy Prime Minister for his time this morning.